Okay, here I am. I'm live. Hey, everybody. Hey, Periscope Land. I'm here in Island, Canada with all my ladies. Woohoo! I'm at the Flirt Fling in Toronto, Canada. It's my very, very first international teaching gig, and they have indulged me to do my Periscope Live. So I'm going to turn this camera around. I think camera around. There we go. There we are. And I'm going to put you guys right here so you can see my demo area. Can you see that? Everybody out there and all my ladies here. So what we're doing today is, as you guys know, is we're doing a dapped and capped class, and we're going to solder these beads together. So what Maria had earlier was that I wanted to share with you guys is she did this dapped and capped piece right here, right? And this was all ready to go, and it all fits beautifully. Awesome. One of the things, though, I wanted to share with you is to make your, I'm going to turn this so you guys can see it. There we go. To make your beads nice and even around the end, I've got some sandpaper right here, and this is 500 grit. So what I do here is I put that face down, and I can file it this way. And if I'm going to be soldering my beads, and I'll talk about this in a second, remember, solder, you guys, doesn't flow to fill a gap, right? So we need to have everything really, really flush. So just by giving it a little love that way, you can get your ends, and it doesn't matter if it's just going to be dapped, it doesn't matter if the ends are fluted. But it's kind of nice, I think, to have things fit kind of nicely together. So we're going to go. And I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to show you guys out there. See how nice they even fit together even better. Can we see that? And then what Maria's going to do, she did a great job with this, is here's her dapped pieces right here. I'm going to pull this a little closer so you guys out there can see too. You guys have the student view. So you guys, those of you guys who are watching out there, I'm really paying attention to my class, so I'm sorry if I'm going to ignore you guys, but you can just watch along. And remember, I'll see you guys next Friday for something else. So see that there? How beautiful that looks. It's all ready to go. So she's ready. Now what Maria also has is her center that she's going to put down in here too a little bit later. So it'll be in the middle, but she's gonna. Oh, you did that. You're actually. See how smarty pants you are.
But it's too small.
Is it too small?
Yep.
Oh,
that's a little cut a new one.
Well, that, or you could dap these
to be a more round.
More round. Either way.
Yeah.
And then it would be fine. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you need that piece in the middle?
You know, I like a centerpiece. Sometimes when you dap these closed, if you don't have a piece in the center, it makes it shift. The bead isn't stable. So having something right, unless things really, really match. If they're a little off and you don't have that center disc, it might sit a little funny.
Okay. Even if it's soldered?
Not if it's soldered.
Not if it's soldered, okay.
Right, but just dapped. So now let's look at this soldered bead. I'm going to move you guys that are watching to right here. Hopefully you guys can see. I'm going to put you guys there. Whoa. Whoa. I'm going to get this right eventually, you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. There we go. You can see what's going on right there. There's my dapped and capped beads. And I'm going to move it back a little bit. Maybe I'm going to move it forward. Maybe I'm not going to worry about it. There we go. Totally. Moving it all around. So you can see I have, here's the half that I did. And I dapped it, and I did the, the sandpaper thing. And so that's down there. Now you can see here, and I'll pass this around, this has solder on it, and I want to pass it so you guys can see it.
And that's copper solder.
This is the copper paste solder. So what I used was, I used this copper paste solder. The reason I use this copper paste is, number one, I'm using copper metal. Number two, it's only one step. So this copper metal solder only has one flow point. So like with silver, we have easy, medium, and hard. With this copper solder, it's only like easy.
Is it a higher flow point than silver solder?
It's not. It's about the same as easy.
Is it? 'Cause I find it takes longer to get it to flow.
That also may be because you're using it on copper and brass probably rather than silver, because it's the heat of the metal that makes the solder flow.
Right.
So it's about easy to medium, somewhere in there, I think. Yeah. So
I just find it really granular and that it doesn't flow.
it can be a little persnickety. What I do, and I didn't bring it because I was traveling, if I were at home making this at my bench, I would spray some flux over the top of it, and that'll help. Do you have?
Spray flux?
I love spray flux, and I use spray flux
We just ordered a bunch.
even with my paste solder that already has flux in it. So the goal, you guys, and so the goal for you guys that are watching, I'm going to solder these two halves together here to create a bead. So I'm going to put my piece that has the solder on. Can you see I'm putting it right there on my rotating soldering pan? And for a solder surface, there's a million things you could use for your solder surface. This is the one that I took right from my bench at home. It's my rotating pan with my charcoal block and the pumice. I also use the solderite boards. I love solderite boards, and I love to travel with the solderite boards because, as you can see, my charcoal block is already split, and I didn't bind it with wire, which is what I should have done. But my solderite board, they're great. They're light, but they're super, super durable. So it's a great setup if you want to set up at home. This is my soldering tray that is just like a cookie sheet. You can see it's a little cookie sheet that I got at the dollar store. So I really like, that's what I use. And that you can see the solder setup, that's the one I use in my book. So I'm going to spray some spray flux right onto this.
And what does this do?
And the flux is what allows your solder to flow.
Okay.
Paste solder has flux in it. However, if you add a little extra layer of flux, it really helps that solder to flow even better. So I'm going to go ahead and spray. Just one spray. We saw that? And I'm going to put that to the side. Now I'm going to use Cindy's Max Flame butane torch. I also brought this, you guys can see out there, this is my copperhead torch that's also a propane torch that I like a lot. And I'm going to show you guys how I turn this on a little bit, but this will be perfect. This is perfect for this bead. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the top right on. Like so, and you guys can see that. You guys at home can see that too.
Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced, or, you know, such as it is. And I'm going to pop on my torch, and we're going to come in, and I'm going to heat. And you can see, remember as we're soldering, you guys, the solder I put all around the inside of the rim of that bead. So I'm going to watch right in between my bead, and you can see why this annealing pan, why it's so important. I love it when I'm soldering because I can move my metal right around. And can you see, it's kind of hard for you guys to see at home, but see that solder, that flow. And remember that molten solder follows the heat, the flame, the heat of the torch. And it's the heat of your metal that melts the solder, not the flame of the torch. So we can see that that has been soldered. It was a little off, but this is demo time, not real jewelry time. You guys can see how that's soldered. You guys can all see. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push that guy. Now, what flux also does, I'm going to wipe it off.
The pan beside you is hot.
Yeah, yeah, not too much. Even this, it's not too bad because that's what I also like about the charcoal block is it captures and retains the heat, but it also
Dissipates quickly.
yeah, and it concentrates it. So I can hold this up even though it's been super hot. You know, here it's pretty warm, but you know, but you can see what flux also does is it also reduces the instance of fire scale. So you can see it's darkened, but there's not a lot of fire scale on that. Okay, and I'm going to pass that around. Okay. Fire scale is the dark oxide coating that happens on your metal when you heat it with the torch. So I'm going to say goodbye to these guys, and we're going to keep going with class. Thanks, you guys. I'll be back from Canada next week, and I'll see you then. You can find me on YouTube.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye. Canada says bye. Woo! Woo! Canada, bye. All right.
Bye.
Thanks, you guys.